Welcome to episode number 43 of the Games Talk Live podcast. Welcome, everybody, to another phenomenal show today because I have the one and the only King David. But before we get into King, I just want to make an announcement here. I've already made it on Twitter, but I want to let you know, the listeners probably listening never watch the show in their life because I do have listeners out there that don't even watch. But if you want to see all the action happen, come to YouTube, come to a live show every Sunday. It's usually 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but today is a special time for my man King. But today is kind of special and bittersweet because it's the end of GTL. Not the end of GTL completely, but the end of season 1. I'm calling it season 1. I've got to take a hiatus due to circumstances out of my control. But rest assured, I will be back for season 2. Things may look different around here when I do come back for season 2 because again, circumstances. There's things that I can't control. So maybe it might be avatars, old school, going on YouTube Live, with the avatar thing, no camera, no clips, any of that. But I assure you, I'll try to give you the best quality show that I can. Maybe during season 3, it'll be all back to normal. And I have so many plans to add more to the production of this show. I've got a lot of big plans for that. But again, out of my control. But I know this is kind of sounding like a Halo Infinite type, plan, looking forward to these seasons, King, but it's just that way. And I just want to say that I thank all of you for making this first year, this first season, just so amazing out there. Everybody who's watched, listened, all my guests, I love you all. You guys have been amazing. Thank you. But yeah, with that said, let's get on to this show with my man, King David of the Iron Lords podcast. Yes, their show is going on right now, so I appreciate this man taking time out and time away from his show with the one and only David Jaffe over there, who we had last week. But King, welcome. Welcome, man.
Oh, man. Blessings, brother. I told you, last show, I'm there. Whenever you need me, anyway. Whenever you need me, you call, I'm showing up. I'm like, the level of growth is incredible.
I
Brother.
appreciate it, brother.
I mean, if you look at the first time I was on to exactly where we are now, because I'm marveling at the setup and stuff, and we talked about stuff even before you made that jump over to camera, your own show and stuff, and I was like, man, you could do it because you have the most iconic voice, and the fact that you found that lane, like you bring the arcade stuff in, and then the special presentation. I used to live for that stuff.
Yeah, the CBS special presentation thing that I use at the beginning on the intro.
It's just this. It has a feel. It has a warm, fuzzy dice in your on your rearview mirror feel. It has that feel to it. That that classic. Fonz really hit the jukebox type of feel to it.
That's kind of what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to build here. And if it wasn't for people like you that said, yes, of course I'll come onto your show, which I'm totally grateful for, I wouldn't have this. If it wasn't for the people watching, I wouldn't have this. And it's honestly, it's humbled me every Sunday. It makes every Sunday a day for me to look forward to, because in the past I hated Sundays. It was the day before the work week. I couldn't stand it. I was always dreading, I got to go to work tonight. Damn, I got to go to work tonight. But now I wake up Sunday morning and I go, I've got this show to do. I can't wait to do it. And of course, I always have ILP to watch beforehand, and that's always a fun thing to start off the Sunday morning. But I want to give a shout out to your baby Farva, I think it's Farva. He's got a super chat. He goes, hit the like button. King's coming in hot. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you. King will be coming in hot today because we got some spicy topics to talk about. Patrick, before the show, he sent me this super chat, and I have to shout him out. He says, you're the man, Fonz. Have to catch the replay. Got schoolwork to do, getting my bachelor's in game development, so I can hopefully help Xbox put some games day one. Thank you very much, brother. And you know what? I love this community, King. They're so awesome, man. I got another one here from Biff Rinaldi. Great name, by the way. I always say that, Biff. Good luck on your move, Fonz. What up, King?
What's going on?
Yeah. So let's get started, man. before we get into the big topics, what have you been playing lately?
Immortal Phoenix Rising.
Oh,
I
okay.
purchased it before. It was on sale and I got it and I just
Mm-hmm.
left it there because I was playing Elden Ring and I finished Elden Ring and I got the Remy ending. Not a lot of people get that ending, but I liked her quest line and I stuck with it. So I'm playing Games Plus now. So I'm trying to go get other endings.
Gotcha.
Um, the game is really highly addictive in the whole go anywhere, do whatever. And now the game plus mode, you already seen the world. You pretty much know what you're supposed to do because I was fighting the last boss. Didn't even know I was fighting the last boss.
Oh,
Right?
really? Yeah, I
Yeah.
never
I
played the
did.
game, so
Oh, okay. Well, it's. I'm not a Souls dude. All
okay.
right, and for me to put in over 100 and some odd hours into this game and actively I mean, I turned off my identification, like being online, my status.
Oh,
I
yeah.
turned off my status and to just play my game in peace because anytime I'm on, people, let's play this or let's play that. I purchased uh, Tiny Tina's Adventures, all these games I have that's in the background. I just never really got a chance to get to it because of this
Mm-hmm.
game itself. So I finished it, played some
That's awesome.
Trek the Yomi and Guardians of the Galaxy. And then I have to get into more stuff that's inside Game Pass. But that's what I've been playing right now. I just started Immortal Phoenix Rising, and I
That's
love those
awesome.
Ubisoft games. So the game feels like
Well,
Breath of the Wild to me right now.
I got to shout this guy out. S guest, he said, GTL is like a pocket full of quarters, 2 of them for a fistful of Bazooka Joes, the rest for the arcade. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I like that. I like that
Remember
description.
Bazooka Joe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Remember Big League Chew? Remember those?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Those are gums that lasted all of
And
5 minutes when you're chewing them. And
those
then
were
they turned
jaw. It made your jaw sore, man, because you try to pack a whole bunch in your mouth as a kid and just,
yeah.
man, that
But
was too
that's why
much.
we was able to take a punch when we was younger. We were strong.
Well, you know what? Speaking of games, though, let's go ahead and play 5 questions.
Oh my God, here we go.
5 questions. All right, David, you're in the hot seat. So 5 questions. You've done it before, but it's a new look now, and I've got a new suit. You like my suit? It's pretty nice.
I love this suit. That's dope.
All right, yeah. I need to get a real one day so I can wear it on the show and do this. I got a lot of plans for the future. Anyway, the first question here. It might start off a little easy, but I don't know. We'll see if you can get all 4 of these, and then of course you've got the subjective question. All right, so this fixed shooter, now it's a fixed shooter, released into the arcades in 1981 by Namco. Can you tell me the name of the game just by listening to its opening music?
Is that Galaxian?
Oh, no.
Galaga.
It is Galaga. So
It's Galaga. Yeah, I was like either it's
It's
Galaxian or Galaga.
Galaga.
Yeah,
See, yeah. That's iconic, that sound right there.
yeah.
This 2D action game with puzzle this 2D game with puzzle elements was released back in 1982. Take a look on your screen and tell me if you can name this popular game. You got your screen up?
Yeah. Qbert.
Correct, sir. See, some of these younger guys wouldn't know what the hell that was, King. But you and I, we know this.
Qbert got hard pause after a while.
Oh, yeah, that game was hard. Yeah, for
and
sure.
It was the first video game that cursed.
Was it now? Yeah, but it
remember
gave you
when
those little
he curses.
symbols. Yeah.
Excuse me.
All right, so here's the last trivia question anyway. This wildly popular game was purchased by Microsoft in 2014 for $2.5 billion and is still enjoyed today by millions of gamers across multiple platforms.
Oh, Minecraft.
Too easy. All right. Oh, no, this is the last trivia question. What am I thinking? That was 3. What was the all-time best-selling game on the PlayStation 2? And this is multiple choice here. Was it A, GTA San Andreas, B, Final Fantasy X, or C, Gran Turismo 3?
Wow.
This is a toughie.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with San Andreas. I think San Andreas.
Correct. You got it right. What was close to that was Gran Turismo 3.
Yeah, Gran Turismo, but remember they had the problems with it. That was the one that had the most problems. So yeah, I had to go with
Yeah, A-Spec, yeah.
San Andreas, yeah.
So here's your subjective question. Favorite game so far this generation?
This generation meaning
This generation. Yeah, this PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. What do you like so far?
it's still cross-gen, so I'm gonna go with Elden Ring.
I like that answer. So you got what? 4 out of 5 questions. Great
I think
job
I got
today.
5 because I thought
You
I had
said
Galactic.
Gallagher. You said Gallagher right after. Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what, audience? I'll give it to you.
Give me half a
I
point,
give
half
it to
a
you.
point.
I give it to you. You won 5 questions. Great job, man. That's awesome. But yeah, thank you for playing along. We had fun
I
doing
love
that.
that. I love. I saw this when you did that with who did, oh my god, who did you do that with? And I saw the little suit and stuff, and I was going absolutely crazy. I said
Yeah.
that Fonz has stepped it up. Something
Yeah,
incredible.
I'm definitely. I got more plans to add more production to it because I got a lot of plans. I don't want it. I don't want people to steal some ideas out there because
Yeah, I feel you.
I've been seeing some things. Anyways, let's get on to this. So Elden Ring. What am I talking about Elden Ring for? So Starfield Redfall,
Right.
both delayed till 2023 now. This announcement first coming from Bethesda themselves, and this is what they had to say. On Twitter, they said, "We've made the decision to delay the launches of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams at Arcane Austin, Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield, have incredible ambitions for their games. We want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of the game. We want to thank everyone for the excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of what inspires all of us every day and drives our own excitement for what we are creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into the gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for your support." King. What were you thinking when you first heard this news or when you first saw that?
It really didn't move me at all, to be honest with you. I haven't seen any
Really?
gameplay
Oh,
for the
man.
games. I don't really know what the games really entail. They haven't sat there and said, okay, well, this is you on the planet and going through a walkthrough of what you're going to be doing and stuff like that. So what I've noticed in this pandemic, or in this post-COVID, or COVID is still going on, climate, a lot of stuff is being delayed, being new engines on Unreal Engine 5, or the fact that game development is being done in a different manner now. And for Microsoft and Bethesda to acknowledge whatever the fault is, come out ahead of it ahead of time, before they can get people all, thought about, like, or jazzed up for it before June 12th. Let's let them know that it's not coming out this year. I mean, Mayamatu said, shipping a broke game is a broke game forever, right? Because the initial mindset of the consumer sees this as a broken game. So the fact that they said, let's pull back. We have enough money. We have enough stuff in the queue. We have enough stuff to show that we can actually put stuff out to fill in that space. That makes sense to me. Don't ship anything when it's not ready. And Phil has been consistent on that. He did that with Halo, one of their biggest franchises, and to do it with Starfield and Redfall, it's no different. To be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I totally understand the delays are, in the end, they're a good thing because you'll get a much better product in the end,
Yeah,
or you should.
hopefully,
But
because
my
they delayed PlayStation delayed Forbidden West. Oh, well, what was it, once or twice or something like that? And I think they should have pushed it back at least one more time to fix certain aspects of it. And I said the same thing with Gran Turismo. I thought that the Gran
Yeah,
Turismo should have been pushed back, but
I agree.
it's a different time now where the hunter is now the hunted, right? And you see the different strategies in between the two companies because once the hunter and the alpha predator is in PlayStation, where they were able to stalk their prey and put out their games at their leisure or when those games were done and was ready. Now some of these games are making it out the door and it's not ready yet, or they're not completely done and they do have bugs, and it's just certain little things that's telling in this generation when Microsoft can say, "Oh, we could take a step back for a second." And I believe that's the Game Pass platform itself that allows them that flexibility. Where once Sony gets their uh, equivalent up and running, they will have that level of, okay, we can go back on our back burner and put these games in here because we still have something for the public, opposed to having nothing for the public.
Yeah, the issues that I'm having here, and by the way, Hargeet Shani just put out a code for Elden Ring, and we have a winner already. The Game Complainers picked it up. He says, "Thank you, Hargeet." Yeah, thank you very much, Hargeet. He's one of the most generous people in this community. Honestly, Hargeet is pretty much on every podcast giving away games all the time.
Let me tell you something about Hargeet Shani. He took to heart when I said, "Yay, we're going to be in PAX. Pull up on us."
Yeah.
He pulled up on us. Well, we met up, and that's the stuff that I love. Meeting new people that share the same passion with us and engages with us on
Facts.
that level. We're approachable. We're gamers. We could talk games, and we ate and we talked games, and we had such a wonderful time. And he's such a wonderful host. I'm telling you, it's the world needs more people like him to help us go
For sure.
forward, and less people that are on the toxic side, because we talked everything: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, everything, VR, and it's a love of games. So
Yeah.
he's a credit. I love him.
Now here's a few things I want to bring up that I'm sure that's going to strike a chord with you. You may not agree with some of the things I bring up here, but I'm a little bit frustrated with Xbox for 2022. I've been on the bandwagon for Game Pass for years now, and I love Game Pass. I won't badmouth Game Pass and say it's bad or anything like that, but for 2022, I just don't feel like they're living up to their promise with Game Pass. Holy crap. Hargeet, what the hell, dude? Again, Hargeet with the huge super chat. See, King, this is why the man he's too much, man.
Wow.
Sometimes. Hargeet with a $400 super chat says, "My brother, I know you were devastated by the delay of Starfield. It's okay. Here's a code for the chat. Game Pass Ultimate for 3 months, guys. Pick it up. And here's some funds to help with your move and keep Game Pass."
Blessings. You can't write it. He's a different type of person.
He's a different breed, man.
It's a beautiful. Trust me when I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing to see. God bless.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing. And also, thank you, John Wolf, with a $5 super chat. It says, "Fonz, King, love to hear your feedback on the news. We hear you. Is the Xbox way? Everyone has a voice, and Phil appreciates constructive criticism, and I'm sure he does. Phil is a good guy. I've talked to Phil. I'm not calling for Phil's head, so before I say anything you may perceive as being negative on Xbox, I'm not calling for his head. I'm not calling for Matt Booty's head, but I do have issues with Xbox, and they're delivering on their promise for Game Pass in 2022. Yeah. So I feel like they put all their eggs in the Starfield and Redfall basket this year, and I think that that was a little bit too much. I think one of the biggest issues that I have is the fact that they said that they would add AAA, third-party games in between their games and stuff that they would put out first-party. And all we've seen this year is MLB The Show. And all I'm hearing that's going to come from the showcase that they will announce, because there will be games coming this 2022 into Game Pass. Yep. There's quite a bit, actually. But most of them are smaller titles. You might get a Forza Motorsport, and that, of course, since it's a AAA. But since 2018, all we've gotten out of AAA outside of Microsoft Flight Simulator is
Halo, Gears, and Forza.
That's what we've gotten. And that is a problem. Like no new IP. And so we were waiting for this new IP. Hold on, King. We were waiting for this new IP, these two new IP, and it was exciting. It was like, yeah, you know, we don't know much about Redfall. We don't know much about Starfield, but we know the pedigree behind these studios. And so we're excited as fans. And as Xbox fans and as Game Pass fans, we were really excited. And now that those aren't coming to fruition in 2022, what do these fans really have to look forward to if they're looking for these big AAA games in Game Pass?
I think that was more of a fan creation of the whole thought process behind Starfield. I never really got it. I guess I wasn't on the whole bandwagon before when Bethesda showed it and was like, yeah, this is coming. And everybody was like, oh, Starfield. And all right, so it's a different time when Microsoft acquires Bethesda, right? So you can't go back to when Bethesda announced it because they were on their own cadence at that period of time. Now, once Microsoft acquires them, they're on a different cadence. It's a different schedule.
Yeah.
The game itself, now I honestly believe had they didn't get acquired by Microsoft, that game would have come out this year on time. Right? And it would have came out pretty much with whatever bugs or whatever that was going to be inside. It would have launched a la Fallout 76. Hopefully not. But Microsoft saw the issue. Now you see the issue and you rectify the issue. The only way to rectify the issue is a delay. Right? It's absolutely a delay. So some dude stood on this hard square, when Redfall comes out and when Starfield comes out, you PlayStation dudes are done. Xbox, they first party start. And this is going to start the avalanche of games coming down your neck. This is going to be a 90 plus. I saw all types of stuff. Dudes are capping about 90 plus Metacritic. It's going to be this and it's going to be that. I didn't know what the game was going to be at all. So I still don't know what the game is going to be. Space drama, whatever.
It's Skyrim in space. How could you not be excited for that? For me, anyway, that's what excites me.
I'm excited for it, but again, I can't get. I'm just one of those people. All right, so this is the reason why I do Combat Talk with the King. I don't do a lot of.
Which, by the way, I do want to jump on one of those with you someday.
Oh yeah, for sure. We already talked about.
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, I do.
So the whole thought process is behind it is I only talk about the fights night of the fight.
Yeah.
Right? I only talk about after the win, after I see the win, I know we have a fight. I know they're going on that night. We talk about it then. You don't get combat.
And you get a lot right too. A lot right.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. But I don't do speculation. And right now, before these games is officially announced, there's always speculation for when these games is going to launch. They gave them a date. Now they pushed the date back. This happens in life. And it's happening a lot more to us now during these times. But I'd rather them push the game back because if so much is put on these games, so much is riding on these games, why not get it right? Now, David Jaffe was on with us at ILP, and he's still rocking right now. He had a very smart take on it. The level of mismanagement on release dates seems to be a bit high, and he attributes that to Phil, right? And I say also, I mean, because if you're going to give him his wins, you also have to give him the losses, right?
Facts.
This is how the quarterback goes.
Facts.
All right, you just don't give him all the praise without giving him none of the blame. He has to, eat that in its turn.
This is why coaches get fired when teams fail.
Right. I don't care if you put Matt Booty in play in that space. It's still the buck falls with you. Whatever. I love the fact that he is consistent in his verbiage. If a game is not ready, it's not going to ship.
Yeah.
That's it. He already
I agree with that.
Crackdown stuff. He already went through Crackdown. But I think the platform that's there.
Well, King, I'm gonna give you something to really chew on here. What we're talking about management, mismanagement, all that.
Right.
And that ties into what I wanted to bring up. And that's the fact that what about these studios? Okay, so for the past 6 months, we've been hearing about Undead Labs is in disarray. The Initiative is having problems. 343 still can't get Halo together. Rare had to completely start over on Everwild.
Right.
Now, if management was doing their job, and I'm not talking about Phil or even Booty necessarily, I'm talking about at a management level within development teams.
Right.
And then you've got, Booty right above them. Maybe if the, everything was being, the wheel was being greased, everything was being, looked upon, all these games were being checked upon, maybe this delay could have been softened with games that could have been put out this year by some of those teams. You've got, State of Decay 3. You've got Perfect Dark. At one time, these games were touted to possibly coming in 2022. But because of all the issues they had, which they shouldn't have really had, I mean, there's no game to be put here to soften the blow for these delays. And I think that's part of a problem. And that's part of what we're seeing at Xbox is it's not just about Starfield. And that for me, it's not just about Starfield being delayed, why I was upset. It's about you didn't have a plan in place for nothing else, for anything else. It's like Starfield or nothing.
That's yet to be determined as after June, right? I hear rumblings.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Things. So after June, then we can have our true assessment of Microsoft in this year, because remember they didn't have anything in the first of last year, and they came to sweep the end of last year, and we know how last year went. So again, they had this weird cadence where they let the first half of the year go and they come in the fourth quarter, and they always shore up their stock there. And I think the going out and getting these studios is to fix that deficiency. PlayStation usually takes the first half of the year. You see with Horizon and Gran Turismo, and then along comes Microsoft for the second half of the year with Forza and something else that's going to fit in those spots, right? So I see it happening in that manner, and there's going to be a point in time where it's going to be the cadence all the way through. But the mismanagement of the studios, I think it's a Western thing. We don't know what's going on in these Eastern companies. We're too open with information, with what's going on. Our level of having to have the new information now, I think that hurts Microsoft in the sense that they're open and honest, and they give too open. Okay, well, this studio is doing this, and hey, you can go talk to this guy, and they talk to that guy, and the guy in Starfield, well, I don't like how the guns are reacting, or I don't like how I'm playing the ship mode, and the ship doesn't feel proper, like So when you hear that from a developer and you get that statement runs wild. Whereas you don't know what's going on in Forbidden West, right? Before the launching of it. You get the delay of the game and you say, oh, you get that 2 to 3 weeks before the game is supposed to come out. Oh, sorry, we're delaying the game. They wait to the absolute last moment to announce a delay, where Microsoft just announced 6 months out it's going to be delayed next year. So we're not gonna hold you all the way to Christmas, and you're thinking it's going to launch
but herein lies the problem. Just until about a month ago, they were really pushing hard on that date, 11/11/22.
Yeah. And you know what? And it takes somebody to stand up and say, "Man, come on, man."
Well, Flush Jackson is right here. He says there were reliable rumblings that Bethesda devs were vocal to the studio management about needing the delays based on 11/11/22. So
one person probably really wanted it out financially for the stockholders, shareholders, and everything. And
I think the date was more nostalgic because it was the anniversary of Skyrim, and I think they really wanted to hit that target date. I don't really blame Bethesda in this. Like, again, we've talked about the delays, and we're fine with delays because, again, they make a good product in the end. It helps out. But my problem with the whole situation is there was no real plan outside of that in place. Again, you mentioned June 12th. You mentioned June 12th,
Yeah.
but I've heard a lot of things behind the scenes on what's going to be announced. And I heard there's quite a bit coming out, but it's a lot of small games. Forza Motorsport could be that big AAA game, but again, Forza isn't really what's moving the needle.
Well, you want something new.
We need new IP from Xbox. Again,
Right.
since
That's
2018, we have
what you're
not had
looking
new IP. That's a problem.
You're looking for the new. And I hear you. I'm looking for the new too. But we're still at that space where they haven't given us information. Listen, they're still the only ones holding on to that mystique of E3. That oh wow, this is actually coming out. They listened last year and they put out nice trailers on stuff and a nice little roadmap. And again, an anemic showing with season 2 of Halo. Very anemic, and it didn't get me to jump back in it. But I'm playing Elden Ring right now, and I'm coming from a place of abundance. Right, this is first world problems. To be honest with you, I'm coming from a space of abundance where it's not like I don't go upstairs and I don't have anything to play. I actually do, but also I do look forward to these titles that they said that they're going to launch and these titles that are supposed to come out. And I don't care about the stockholders and what
Me
point that
neither.
they lie in for this year.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to leave the covered beer when it comes to Game Pass. And especially if Game Pass is the platform. I believe that they're going to hit their mark with the games for the Summer Games Fest with Jeff Keighley and them. I think they're going to hit their mark from September on to the end of the year on what games that they do want to release and how do they space it in that space where the availability of the console and also the availability of certain software is it's in that space. I think is a strategic thought in looking at what's available as far as console numbers and it's the same thing with PlayStation and what to ship out, right? If there's not enough consoles, because you say at this time, well, we was looking at probably 20 million at whoever was the peak, and that should be PlayStation right now. They should be at 20 million, or Xbox should be close to 17. And the more the millions, the faster the games come out because there's more people to sell to, right? I think that plays in hand in a lot of these decisions and delay it 6 months. A couple of the more numbers sell.
Then are you speculating that God of War might be delayed?
I already said it was going to be delayed.
Really?
I'm standing on that square. I don't believe
standing on it, huh? God of War.
Yeah,
huh?
it was supposed to come out in 2021. Nobody, I don't hear no one up in arms on an IP that they like.
Well,
something that they know about.
To be honest, ever since the delay of Starfield, it killed my hype for any game that is supposed to be, like if they say, give me a date for God of War, I don't know if they'll hit it now. Like, I don't have that confidence anymore.
It was supposed to be out in 2021.
Yeah,
I don't hear the outcries. Where's the fake outcries? And this is an IP that we know exactly what it is. Yeah, sure, it's DLC, but this is an IP that we know exactly what it is. We know exactly what we're going to eat. We know exactly the plate that is going to be put in front of us, so we know what to salivate about and what it is. And the fact that it was supposed to come out in 2021 and it's not, and it still doesn't have a date for 2022. Where's the outcry for that?
Yeah, the scary part is that there's only 6 months left in the year, pretty much, and you've got nothing on it yet. But I still have high confidence it's coming out this year. But I'll tell you, since the delay of Starfield, that confidence has dropped a bit because anything can happen now. Like Bethesda, ever since Oblivion was the first, the last time they actually delayed a game. After that, their Fallouts, their Skyrims, their all their other games that dropped came out on time. So it really shocked me. I held them to that 11/11/22 date because I really believed it was dropping that date. I was foolish enough to go out on Twitter and tell people, you're nuts if you don't think that that's not coming out this year. So I got egg on my face for that. But
I thought they was going to hit their mark.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any reason why not. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
they hit their mark. But I don't really have that same jubilation when they're talking about Starfield because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just going off basically what I love about their RPGs. And so, yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited. I was excited for Fallout 76. Right,
so not me.
This is the part where the temper of my expectations has come out to, right? Because I was super excited for Fallout 76, and then when I got the product, I was like, and I was listening to everybody else. You know, shout out to Anchorman and everybody else. I was listening to everybody else, and Anchorman went in, he was playing it, and he was like, "It's a cool game." And then I was listening to other people, and they were having a negative reaction. I said, "You know what? I got to try it for myself."
Yeah.
So it started off as a first day buy, then it turned into a wait see. And then I actually got a chance to play it. Now, the game is totally different now. This day, if you actually put that game in, it is totally different from the launch game that actually came out. And had it got that time to grow or was on a platform where it was able to grow, I think that it would have launched in a different form. Please take the time out and launch this game that I don't know anything about, and I don't want to be turned off from it. From anything, from any aspect of it, and don't come with the old rudimentary gameplay that we had in Skyrim to feed off my nostalgia.
No. Yeah,
give me something new, something innovative, and something different.
Oh, I'm 100% in agreement with you. Shout out to Drawn TJ. He just says hi guys in the super chat. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
Drawn TJ is my boy.
He's ridiculous.
He's funny as hell in party chats, man. That guy's funny. Yeah, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier when we were talking about mismanagement. You brought up, you think it's a Western problem.
Oh yeah.
Because here, you know, I kind of agree with you in that, but I'm also looking at it from the aspect of, if you look at the Japanese companies, if you look at Sony over there and what they're doing, they very much have a hands-on approach, where Microsoft is a hands-off approach with management.
Well, now it is.
Do you think that's an issue, though? Do you think that could be a big issue for Microsoft, this hands-off approach?
It could be. Before they was hands-on, until the point where they were reprimanded to the point that they felt that, oh, Microsoft goes in and they messes everything up. They meddle in everything, or oversight is good. Right, but too much oversight can work in a negative space when you're trying to work with these creative individuals. Remember, they're not in the same workspace anymore. They're working from their homes in some cases, right? How do you manage from a distance? That's the question that we're looking at now. How do you be effective and you're not on site? Now you have to word your stuff a little bit different. You have to go into a conversation a little bit different and understanding what the circumstances are, opposed to you're at the job and you see Tony on the dock always smoking a cigarette and you're wondering why Tony didn't finish this level. You understand? So now you have to go at it in a different manner. I think oversight is good, and they have to properly manage and do that stuff. But I also think that they're growing and learning. They grew exponentially as far as how many developers they have now. So to get that balancing act, it's like plugging a leak, Fonz. And you had a dam and it's a leak here and it's a leak here and it's a leak here.
Yeah.
And you can get to the point where you can spackle all of this stuff. All right, I got it down pat.
Yeah.
I know if these guys is going to launch, these guys are in production, these guys are whiteboarding. All right, so we're going to talk about this. Oh, they need a proper manager here. They're learning how to be a great developer and put out high Metacritic games. They're learning this. That's not their pedigree. So the fact that their pedigree is changing right in front of us, there's going to be some growing pains, right?
Hey, Zocker87, shout out to him. He says, at some point, David, leaks lead to sinking ships.
Yo, you know what, Zalker? That is a fact. But also leaks lead into you building a better ship. Sometimes you might have to get off that ship and get into a better ship that doesn't have any leaks to fix up. This is why some developers gets dissolved and put into other studios.
Yeah.
You
they
have
get
to see what
absolved.
you're
Yeah.
working with in order to know how to utilize it. So it might have worked over here. It might have worked when Bethesda was quiet in the corner doing their stuff, and it's not working over here. And they have to actually fix those things. So if the studio's not producing,
Yeah.
a la what is that? The initiative,
Mm-hmm.
you got it and you fix it,
Yep.
right? So sometimes you might have to throw out the boat because there's too many leaks in the boat in order to make a new boat. But you know what you got now.
Yeah. Flush Jackson says with the $20 super chat, thank you very much, man. Great discussion, gentlemen. Peace, love, and health to both of you and your families. Thank you very much,
Bless
man.
you.
That's a sweet message. But I want to go back to this, though.
Right.
Just if you take the typical gamer out there from the outside looking in, he doesn't care about what is going on, if they're working from home, if they're if there's mismanagement or not. All he cares about is my product, right? As a consumer, where's my product? So when you're looking at that, you get the perception that, yeah, there's a lot of problems there at Xbox. So from their standpoint, they're looking at this situation and going, well, if you're not producing for me, why am I buying into something like Game Pass? Do you think this overall, do you think this is going to have a major impact on Game Pass, this delay here for these games?
Because I believe that the Twitterverse is the vocal minority. They're not the majority. The average consumer doesn't have any idea what the hell Starfield is. Doesn't know and doesn't care at this point.
I would disagree because Bethesda sells a lot of games, both on PC and Xbox.
Right.
So, and I know they have a lot of fans that are waiting for this game.
Oh,
so
we're not talking about the people in the know. We're talking about the actual people that push the numbers.
Yeah,
right?
but even if, but what about the people that are within Game Pass? They're waiting for it. You think they'll drop Game Pass? You think numbers won't drop?
No.
See, I disagree.
And you know why? And let me tell you why. It's the same reason why I didn't drop HBO Max once it wasn't date and date in a movie theater. They gave me content. So that month that I'm ready to drop it, oh wow, you released the Batman in here. That month that I'm getting ready to drop it, oh wow, you got a new special that I got to see. And then you forget that month because you already paid for that month. And then the next month comes out and there's something else in there. They have their teams working on, shout out to Sarah Bond and the crew. They have their teams working on bringing content, compelling content to keep people in that place until the reinforcement arrives.
Again, they're looking at big games, though. They're not looking for the next indie.
No, they're looking for giant games. But what are you going to say? MLB The Show is not a giant game day and date inside a Game Pass?
Well, yeah, but a game like that, a sports game, a racing game, it's kind of niche. You know, it's not going to hit the target audience that you're speaking of. Like,
let's look at what Game Pass released in the past month, right?
And again, since 2018, no IP outside of, Microsoft Flight Simulator and
Halo, Gears, and Forza.
That's it.
Yo, I happen to love
and it's a problem. There's no new IP. Like, and again, I'm talking about the people that don't really know anything about what's going on internally at Xbox. They're just looking at it from the consumer standpoint. What have you got for me? What have you got for me?
I honestly don't care what's going on over there. Like, I that's not my business to care about that. I just care about the games. That's all I do is play the games, right? So, yeah, new IPs, new experiences, new worlds, new adventures, new puzzles. I want all of that stuff, right? But I'm mature as a gamer to know that until it ships, I don't really care. Like, I don't care about what's I'm really Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? What's happening right now? Where are we at right now at this point? And that's what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, they can say, "Oh, this is delayed," but then I don't really know what what are you gonna give me to hold
For
here?
us, the hardcore though, we see what's on the horizon, right? We see what's coming next
Right.
year, or in the years to come at Xbox. They've got a lot of talented studios,
But
a lot of
right
great games
now,
coming. We see what's going to come, but it's 2022, and not since 2018 have we got a new IP, and
no,
we're looking at it going, where is it?
they got studios,
Would
but no new IPs.
yeah,
And those new IP, see, we can say until we're blue in the face, wait for it, just wait for. But we've been
and we've been
waiting
saying
for it.
that every two,
For how
3
long we've
years.
been waiting for? How many? Almost a decade, right?
Well, no, but seriously, we've been waiting for it since like
And X.
2018,
All right, so you're
2018.
saying that the whole Xbox One, 2013, the whole
2013.
Xbox
But you
One,
had some new IP. You had Rise. You had
some that wasn't even followed up on.
no, they weren't.
You see, that's it. Yeah, you tried, and this is the fear, right? Isn't the fear
And you had management change too in between then.
right? The turnover is crazy. The vision is
Mhm.
different. You have people. Listen, there was some games that came out that I want a redo on. Right? I want these games to give me a part 2 to it. Let it mature. Let it go in the hopper. We don't know if these games are in the hopper. We don't know if these games are ready to come, ready to ship, or they're talked about. They're being whiteboarded. I want a commitment level, right? I want to know.
That's
Okay,
what I want.
Starfield's going to come out, and Starfield is it's a 10-year game, and this is the roadmap that we're looking for this. We have committed to this part of this game. All right, I can understand a commitment level because it seems like Sony commits to their games, even if they were failure, but that's early on Sony, right? We're still looking at it through the prism of the past.
Mhm.
We're not looking at it as the zeitgeist right now. The zeitgeist right now shows us Game Pass is thriving for the content that's available now for the consumer, the average consumer that isn't 100% game on Twitter all day in the know exactly what's going on. Who did what over at Bethesda? Who did what at Activision? Oh, these these individuals that are pushing the numbers that are the gauge that what the companies are looking for aren't 100% in the know. It's us, the vocal minority, that's telling people, yo, you need to worry because Bethesda, and I think it forms our opinion into thinking that everyone thinks this way. And
Okay,
I'm
so
telling you, they don't.
so for you, I want to ask you personally,
Right.
are you worried about anything? Not this specific delay. I'm not talking about Starfield being delayed. But are you worried about anything going on at Microsoft in terms of management when it comes to these studios and
343.
what their inability to produce a big AAA new IP in the past, 5 years, 6
343.
years?
Okay. Well, my concern is 343's mismanagement of the Halo game. I don't know if it's tied to the show. Um, I don't know if it's tied to the move to the engine. That we still don't have ray tracing in that game. All right. We still don't have Forge. We still don't have a lot of stuff that was promised for this game. And I don't know why. So 343, the mismanagement in there. As far as new IPs, I've been told about new IPs and they're coming. I can't force them to
Mhm.
make these IPs faster than they're going to be made. Games initially is a 5-year process, right? And we hope that there's no bumps and bruises in between to make it longer than that.
Yeah,
And
and we could
really
and we
great,
could add a couple of years there for, the pandemic and them not really
right,
making too many strides. Sure.
right. So we're looking now probably at a 6-7 year cycle for these games that they're talking about, and we want stuff so immediate. We have this yearn for such immediacy in anything that we do. We order food that it's not there fast enough. We order Uber, it's not there fast enough. When is this movie going to start? How many previews do I got to watch before I get through
Mm-hmm.
the movie? We are at a point of annoyance with any delays.
Yep.
And the
Stream
more
instantly, man. That's where
that's
we're at.
our thing now. So the moment that you hear that you have to wait for something, level of outrage and uproar coming from the individual that is spoiled to the point where we have microwaves
Yeah,
where
facts.
we cook stuff like that.
Yeah.
And remember
Well, to be
before
honest, we've had microwaves since like the late 70s. So
but that's when it started, though.
Mhm.
That's when our immediacy started, and everything started
We got
to
air
ramp up.
fryers
You
and,
gotta have it. These things are happening now where the immediacy of the situation is formulating our mood. If we can't have it right now, if we don't know it's coming out next week, we're upset. Like you said, it's 6 months to the end. Let's put this in perspective. It's 6 months to the end of the year. That game was going to launch in November, right? So
true.
that means it's 2 months at the end of the year. They told you it's going to launch the first quarter of 2023. So that means it's delayed for probably 4 months.
Do you believe that after Cyberpunk 2077?
Delay it, please. Like, delay it, please.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they need even more time than that, I'm good with it, right? Like, if take all the time you need. I've said that many times on this show, on your show, on everybody's show.
Right.
If a developer needs more time with their game, you can't argue with that, okay? But again, I just go back to Xbox, and so you're not like worried at all that they've had no new IP and they're not really pushing big first party yet.
If
none of that concerns you, you don't look at it like they've stumbled over their own feet when they've had such goodwill that they brought upon gamers, and they built up so much goodwill the past couple of years, and you don't see it that way that they're stumbling.
The reason why I don't is because the platform, which is Game Pass, has a steady flow.
I don't see the steady flow of big games though. I didn't. Okay, for me personally, I did not sign up just for indie games. I signed up for big AAA blockbusters.
I signed up for the first party titles, day and date, and whatever else drops inside, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I Fonz, we come from Pong.
Yes.
Okay.
We forget where we come from. Remember Adventure? You were the square. All right,
Yeah,
you were a square.
So I don't. So I honestly remember Pitfall Harry. I honestly remember Pac-Man, where the pack dots was long rectangles.
Yeah.
All right, so I know where I come from. These indie games would have been super AAA games then. Right. So again, it's more about the feel of the game and what the game gives me, what I'm looking for in the game, to be honest with you. So a lot of these games, Game Pass is actually filling that void. And I'm going along. When I get to the next game, then it's the next big game. I know they cadence, though. That's why. I know the second half of the year, Microsoft is like, oh, we're lit now. Here's this Forza, here's another game in between, two big games, and then a whole bunch of Game Pass stuff that get in between them. I don't like Microsoft first half of the year. I actually hate it because, excuse me, where Sony capitalizes on the income tax time. As soon as income tax time, Nintendo does that too pretty well.
Oh, Elden Ring capitalized big time.
Income tax, got it, baby.
Got it.
That period of time right there where you're a little bit more lenient in spending money. A little money, purse strings is opening up right around here. I don't see why Microsoft isn't also in that same category. And hey, man, they got some disposable income here. Even if it's for 1 or 2 games, there's disposable income in the Western market during this tax season. Why aren't you in that? No. And then, the summertime, it's really you'll say more indie stuff because the kids are supposed to be outside playing and off.
Yeah,
school
vacations,
break.
all that.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're not here.
Yeah.
And then
But by
September's
fall,
really
you're looking at, you're looking for that big game. So that's why you've got the
Right.
Saints Rows, the Gotham Knights.
those that's and there's no problem with games like that being delayed until the buying season. See, Microsoft is still looking at this console space in old metrics.
Yeah, I'd be happy with them getting, one of those games into
I
Game
think they
Pass
might.
day and date.
I think they.
But
June
still, it
will tell.
doesn't address their problem with their inability to push their studios to push out, their big AAA IPs.
All right, let's look at it from a future proposition.
Oh, first of all, wait. I gotta call out this whiny entitled gamers. Fonz, how much do you pay for Game Pass? You game share. It doesn't matter what the price is. It's different to everybody. It's the experience here. What you get out of whatever you're paying for as a consumer. If you're not happy with it, that's all that matters is if you're happy or not. So if I'm spending just the same as somebody else who's having a blast with all indie games and he loves it, and that's not what I'm looking for, and I was promised big games within this service, then yeah, I'm going to be, as a consumer, upset and say, I don't like it. There's nothing wrong with that. I tell people all the time, speak with your wallet when you're not happy. It's not about being entitled. It's about delivering on a promise. These companies delivering on their promise. You should not pay for something that isn't being, when they're not delivering on that promise. You should not pay for something when they're not giving you the product. I mean, it's silly. If you're happy with it, fine. But yeah, no. And by the way, I did cancel my Game Pass. I canceled it. I'm going to resubscribe when they start bringing out big games. If they bring out big games at the end of the year, guess what? I'm resubbing. I don't hate Game Pass. I just feel like it's not for me right now. That's all. Nobody's whining. So if you don't like it, you can leave if you don't like the discussion here. Come on now. We're just trying to have a good time.
Like the discussion, but all right. So games like Trek to Yomi, you view that as an indie game, right?
Yeah, it's an indie game. Yeah, for sure.
All right, but it still uses the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Still a fantastic play. See, I think our expression.
And I don't hate indie games. Don't get me wrong. I love indie games.
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
It's the promise of the delivery of the big AAA games into Game Pass. It's not that.
When I went into Devolver Digital's booth, I didn't get that vibe from Trek to Yomi. I got a sub AAA game, a AA game vibe from it, right? And from the project manager to the developer to the promotional house, which is Devolver Digital. When we did the interview at PAX East, go to lordsofgaming.net, the marketing dude. When we saw it, and the fact that we found out that it was launching day and date inside Game Pass, I said that's another cue. That's another like win for those individuals that want something to play at this period of time where it's a little dark in that space. They're fitting all the bills as far as sports goes, right? So you have the sports kids there. Our hardcore. So how many hardcore games have launched this year?
There wasn't that many outside of Elden Ring, right. MLB, I guess, that's why somebody brought up that to me before too. Like, I think it was Dealer who was talking to me about that. And he's like, there really wasn't much that was brought out yet. So what could they have done now? That's why I went to when you bring up your point about June 12th, if they do announce some bigger games there, of course I'd be happy. Of course.
We got to see, because they're the only ones that's holding something.
But
we'll give a date.
But my overall disappointment at Xbox is the fact that they just haven't been able to put out games, their AAA games, and that's what I'm disappointed with.
Well,
it's like, what is
say
going on there? I mean, we've had delays at Sony as well. There was delays there too. These games that came out this year were supposed to come out last year. Horizon Forbidden West was a last year title, but they still had games last year. They still had, and I think, and that's why I went back to your Western thing
of last year.
I think that their management, the way they manage their studios, I think is a better situation over there.
I think so too.
But really?
Wow. Yeah. You also, of course.
Okay.
But you know what I
respect that.
They've gotten the ability to do so.
Yeah.
This is learned behavior.
Mm.
You're trying to tell Microsoft to chew gum, ride the unicycle, and juggle at the same time because Sony's doing it. Well, Sony learned it. They learned how to ride the unicycle first, then they learned how to juggle, then they threw the gum in their mouth. At no point in time was they having to do all of that stuff while trying to gain.
Yeah, they've actually also learned how to just co-develop games. You've got different development teams over there at Sony that co-develop games, help each other out, things like that. That hopefully at Xbox they'll start to cultivate that type of energy and stuff.
They've talked about it. They've talked about the talking in between developers and sharing technology across the boards to help efficiently get games out at a different cadence.
Yes,
this is absolutely growing pains. Anytime you get such an amount of studios, so many people in the room talking at one time, people are still learning their place and having the conversation. Sony, they already know. When you have Naughty Dog and all these dudes inside the room, and you have everybody inside the room, okay, we already know we're going this way, we're going this way, we're going that way. But it was a time where they didn't know. Yeah. And they weren't hitting these marks, and this stuff wasn't happening.
There was that time. We remember with the PS3. We remember that.
That's what I'm saying, Fonz.
And even the beginning of the PS4, we remember that.
Did we go crazy?
Yeah,
no,
we didn't go crazy. No, we really didn't,
because we didn't have Twitter.
We didn't go nuts about it like that. There were some forum spaces, but those weren't very big. Ham Solo has a good point here. He said we lost $120 worth of service from the service this year. So he's right.
What
I mean,
what
without
are you talking about? Well,
without Redfall and Starfield,
with those two games,
for me, but the way I look at it, they lost that.
All right.
From my perspective, anyway, and for many, I'm sure.
So all right, we got. Let's look at last year. Right, last year Sony games slipped from the previous year to the early of last year, and it worked out for them. Same thing happened this year. The game slipped from the ending of last year and shipped now. You had the Gran Turismo and you had the Forbidden West. Great stuff. You garnered the whole conversation in the beginning of the year. They launched buggy. They launched with a little bit of problems, but you still launched the game. You still came out. And again, none of those games are inside a service. Their service comes in June. Why? Because they have nothing there. Nothing's announced for this year so far, but the service. So now we could put these games that we launched earlier into the service later on so we can get past for the rest of the year. They're building their platform. It's going to be growing pains in that space because they're going to learn how to juggle and ride a unicycle and have that bubble gum. Microsoft is learning how to manage right now. My frustration with them is the first 6 months. You take the first 6 months off. No, the season started already January 1st. So what do we have in January? What do we have in February? What do we have in March? What do we have going forward? So the first half of the year, and next year, if they start off next year with a Darth for the first 6 months, then that's unacceptable. That's absolutely unacceptable. The cadence has to be all right.
But that's how I'm feeling right now. That it's unacceptable for the second half of the year. But you're saying wait till E3, and I guess my mind is just trained to just hate that saying. Wait till E3. I hate that.
I know we're gonna have Forza. And for some people, yeah, I don't care. I care for Forza Motorsports because Forza Horizon was fantastic, but I want that little structured racing thing because I was looking to Gran Turismo to fill that void. I thought I was going to blow the
How did
dust
you
off my
like that?
PlayStation. I didn't buy the game because it
Oh,
was too
wow.
much crap going on with it.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. All the
So I walked away.
microtransactions and stuff too. Just
But I that was the game that I was going to play my PlayStation 5 with. That was it. I was like, okay, I'm getting in there. Here we go. I really wasn't a Horizon dude because the first one put me to sleep every time I played. It was like a chore to finish it. But Gran Turismo was definitely going to be my space. So I'm looking forward to Forza. That's one of the first party games it's coming from. We don't know if there's another first party game that's going to launch unexpectedly, right? But then there's
yeah,
also deals that we heard that they're working in the background with
yeah.
some stuff with Disney and some other stuff. We don't know what's available. We also don't know what's being gobbled up by Game Pass. That's the platform. I have supreme confidence in the last half of the year because that's what they do. My problem is I have zero confidence in the first half of the year. And I don't like it's like a boxer who takes off the first 6 rounds because he feels that he can win the fight either by knockout in the second half of the fight.
All right.
What if that punch never lands?
So let me pose this question to you. What if in the second half they don't bring you Forza and there is no AAA game?
That's when you're going to hear me on your platform denouncing the practices that's going on over there and talking about mismanagement. Because if you do not deliver one AAA game from your studios this year, it from September on, and then actually have double A's from your other little studios that's inside there, and fill Game Pass with something to have that our holiday cheer, our season of buying, because in the Western market we buy from September on to December.
Facts.
So if you don't fill it up there, then I have a problem. Right now, they're stuck in that same nasty rut that I don't like. That first 6 months of the year, I don't like it because the level of conversation to it it's not good. But they already took measures in fixing that for next year because they said Redfall and Starfield is first half. So you already know in 2023, first half is going to be lit. And then we know how they do in the second half. Oh, we good then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? If that happens, I hope it doesn't happen. I don't wish delays on anything, but if it had to be delayed, Forza, then it has to be. Well, there's no delay. There's no announcement anyway yet. This is all speculation, but it's highly probable speculation. We've heard a lot of things behind the scenes saying, yeah, this game is coming this year. So if you're into Forza, look for it. Gamers Watch from Gamers Watch Podcast. Thank you for the $10. He says, my frustration with Xbox currently isn't that the hands-off approach clearly isn't working. Phil is doing great stuff with Game Pass, but something isn't working internally. Fingers crossed it lines up. Yeah, I feel the same way. That's where my frustration is too. Right? Yeah, it's really frustrating. But
who do we point the finger at when we talk about Sony's mismanagement? Jim, right?
Yeah, but you have to point the finger at multiple people.
See?
You have to point the finger at your development team, your development team leader, people like, at Xbox, Matt Booty, and then you go point fingers at Phil Spencer too, because he's above all of them. So
the buck stop with him?
The buck stops with him, for sure. For sure. But you know what?
Hopefully they get it better. Hopefully they get better.
Last thing I want to bring up with you is this June 12th show. What do you think that they could do to make it better right now for the people like I was talking about earlier, from the outside looking in and saying, man, there's a lot of issues there at Xbox. They got no games. What do you feel they can do to make those people feel a bit better?
All right. So for the past 2 years, in 2 E3s and all these indie shows, we saw games that haven't been released yet, right? A lot of these games. Well, make sure that they're released this year. Make sure that those games have dates inside Game Pass. Make sure that giant robot game that was ray traced, that game has a date inside Game Pass. Make sure that this game has a date inside Game Pass. Make sure you map out the rest of the year inside Game Pass. So all those games that we saw, that's just the games that we saw already from the indie show that hasn't been released and from Microsoft E3 shows that haven't been released yet. Let's get that. Remember Vampire Masquerade and all these other games. Let's get these dates for those games that has been announced and shown already.
I'd rather not remember that game, but okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm a huge Vampire Masquerade.
Oh, you do like it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a nut for that. I brought a whole PC for that back in the day.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm Legacy of Kain, dude. I'm super vampire. Dude, I like Twilight.
Oh boy, sparkly vampires too. Oh no,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But okay, so do that. Have those games there, and then show what games that you are working on that are coming out in the not too distant future. You say 6 to 8 months. Do the 6 to 8 months things. Don't talk about things that's 5 years out. Who cares about
Thanks.
that? Give us the 6 to 8 months thing, because you have enough studios to keep that. And the way that we consume media is different now, so we could put out something informational wise for 6 to 8 months. Do that, stick to that schedule, and I'm good. But give me my Forza at the show. I want to see that, and I want to see another beloved franchise, and give me a better roadmap for Halo. Give me a better roadmap for Halo.
Yeah.
Knowing that more single player content is showing up and more Forge or whatever the hell else is supposed to come out. Give us that stuff. Show us that stuff. Show it so we can see it, so we can know it's tangible, and you can give us a date around it that we can actually stick to, that can take the bitter taste out of our mouth, pause, from Starfield being pushed out and Redfall, which I know nothing about, but has vampires, so I'm intrigued.
You know, I told somebody this yesterday, and I stick by it. I think that if 343 had their act together and they would have pushed out Halo Infinite last year and it was all complete, they had everything was good to go, and there was no qualms about the multiplayer aspect of the game, I think that would have really softened the blow of this delay. I think even just that, the fact that they did put out a full finished product, you know, even if it was Halo, but people were having a blast with the multiplayer and there was no issues, you know, and people were just, you know, on a high from that. I think that would have helped out a lot. And, you know, it just sucks because, again, it goes back to that perception that Xbox isn't delivering these games. And when they do, it's half baked, and it's sad.
There's a narrative that people like to stick to. We're not going to act like they weren't producer of the year and highest Metacritic in Metacritic's history, right? Last year, in a DOF year where they didn't play for the first 6 months, and they ended on the last 6 months of the year strong. All right, so we have to give them, they earn the right for the June 12th.
Yeah.
They earn the right to hold on. This is a different company. I think he's earned the right to have the benefit of the doubt, because he had the balls to step up to say, we're going to put these games on hiatus until next year because it's not up to the quality that we want it to be. You know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, and trust. You always want to deliver great news, but you always want to be real with your constituents and the people that put you into place. They put him into power, right? You want to be real with them so they can know, they can look you in the eye and say, you know what, but at least he's going to be real and drop it how he's supposed to drop it. He's not going to sit there and spin it and tell us, oh, we believe in generations, and then spin it on us. Or he's not going to tell you, you know what, if the game isn't ready to ship, we won't ship it, and still ship it. And don't tell me about Halo. He gave you the core basis of Halo. The game is a functional game.
Mm.
If you want to co-op and stuff like that, and I know that's a staple for some people, buy the game when that
For
part
a
comes
lot
out.
of people. And
Right? Not for me. Like
that's
for
still,
me,
but
it was
that's
a
still
single
hit.
player.
That still hit hard, amongst,
Yeah, it did.
the media pushed it, gamers pushed it. Like they wanted a delay there just for co-op. And I don't
Yeah.
disagree with that. Like
But you see how
co-op
long it's
isn't for
taking right
me.
now?
Co-op isn't for me, but I pushed for a delay for it too.
But Fonz, look, that game doesn't come out last year in November. Co-op still isn't there. We're going into June. That was the reality of what they were looking
My
at.
Halo, Gears, and Forza. Hey,
So think about it. The reality, they're not there now. So what you're gonna
Yeah.
do? Hold it until November again? No, you gotta
Honestly, I mean, if it's not ready, we talked about this, delay the game. It just sucks. Again, I don't want to keep harping on being too negative here, but 2022 for me is dry as hell. And if God of War, now, and I hope it doesn't, I'm confident it's going to come out, but if it gets delayed, both consoles for me are going to be pretty damn dry. And that's not to say I won't be playing any games. No, you've still got Saints Row, you've still got Gotham, but as far as first party, both companies are looking pretty spooky if God of War was to be delayed.
Fonz, the PlayStation has done good this year.
Well, they had a game come out and I didn't care for it. But that's my personal preference.
Regardless to,
but I understand they brought a game out and they made a lot of people happy.
Two games.
Yeah,
they did 2 games,
but
and they did it.
Gran Turismo 7 had a lot of backlash.
I'm just talking about from the consumer standpoint.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I didn't expect. I thought I lost my knees to that bet because
really?
I thought Gran Turismo wouldn't launch close to Horizon. You understand? I thought they was going to stagnate the launch. I thought they was going to push it out. I would have lost that same bet last year to Forza, and I should have known. I should have saw the writing on the wall to Forza and Halo. They launched very close to each other, and they did the same thing with this. I guess they don't think racing games garner the same respect as a story-driven game, right? As far as Horizon does, and as far as Halo and Forza. They launched these games in the beginning of this year. Yep. Now, it sucks for them that Elden Ring came out. Had no Elden Ring came out, these games would
Horizon especially was just overshadowed completely.
Yeah, but because of what the game's perception is, how you see the character.
Mm-hmm.
But they did good this year so far in the beginning of the year because they're keeping their fan base satiated with something for the first half of the year. Now, and also remember, MLB The Show did launch. It didn't launch in Game Pass, but they launched the game.
Yeah.
So you have 3 games that's on the PlayStation that are actually really good games, and they gave you some DLC that they're talking about with the shooter game that they have, and it's free DLC.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be coming out for them. So they give you a nice little roadmap. I applaud Sony for the first half of the year. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait.
Oh, you have to.
It's on that cadence. But then for the second half of the year, Sony usually sucks. Always. Right?
Yeah, you typically don't put games out in the fall or even, in the holiday for sure. Typically.
They don't. So this is where we're at with it. One picks up the first half of the year, the other one picks up the second half of the year. I'm tired of that give and take type of thing. I really want one to dominate the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm expecting for that to happen. And whoever does dominate for the whole year, because if God of War does come out at the end of this year,
they dominate the year.
A cellular year.
Yeah,
they dominated the year
for sure. Okay, one last question. What do you hope to see? What do you hope to be surprised by at the June 12th show?
I want to see a Forza that looks like their trailer.
Oh, so you want it to be that realistic, and
I want it to be what you promised. All right, because the Gran Turismo, that trailer, I go back to that trailer right now, and I look at that trailer and I get goosebumps. Then I saw the finished product, and I was like, "Nah, that's not it, B. Like, where's the graphical downgrade? What's up?" Right? So, no, I swear I'm gonna rip them a new one if that Forza doesn't look like that trailer. When those cars was coming down that hill, my man, you better deliver that to me because that's what I want. I want next generation driving. All right. When I played Drive Club for the PlayStation 4, I knew I was playing next generation driving.
That
Those
did look
graphics
nice.
look
It looked nice.
Boy, that game look. I don't care about the invisible walls, what they talking about. Graphical,
Yeah.
blew me away.
Wow. That's not asking. That's not asking too much. I think Series X can produce some pretty nice graphics. So yeah, I think you're going to be in good hands there because Forza Horizon 5 looked incredible for what it did.
But I wanted to blow out that.
Oh, it should. Motorsport usually looks better.
Right.
Yeah.
It better. And then I want Game Pass bangers.
Oh, of course. We all want that.
And I'm not talking. Yeah, everybody wants to pie in the sky. Everybody wants Microsoft to go over to WB and go do this and go do that, and you should do this and you should do that. No, what I'm asking for from Microsoft is all those games that I've seen for the past 2 years that are not out now, get them out this year. All those third-party games that were those indie games, it's a lot of them.
That's a lot to ask.
You remember? The third-party indie game, and I forgot what the name of the ninja game was, but he had a gun, he had a sword. It was first person, and he said only 2 people made this game, and it had ray tracing.
Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and yeah, you're fighting all kinds of crazy stuff.
Where the hell is that game at?
What was that called? Chat, you remember that game?
Yeah,
there was a demo on it.
Yeah, but it wasn't that game. It was the previous game,
in the
line of that game.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, and that was the game that was made for the PC. No, I want that game.
Okay.
Get that game out, and then also finish up the all those indie games. I want that giant robot game that had the ray tracing. I want these games that you showed. Make this the year of fulfilling those promises made for the last 2 years of games that was shown at your indie shows and your regular shows, and finish it out. I don't give me Forza and give me the rest of that stuff, but give me that stuff that you showed before to show me that, okay, you got a handle on this stuff and this stuff can come out, and then we can worry about the big stuff next year.
You know, the only thing I ask for this year is a lot of gameplay. That's what I want to see. Especially with games they've already announced. I want to see gameplay. I don't want to see CGI trailers over and over. I want to see gameplay. I'm not
a fan of CGI trailers either.
I want to see the Starfield deep dive. I'm sure we're still going to get it. We're still going to see some of Redfall, get a better understanding of both those games. And then but the one thing I really want to see gameplay of is Avowed. Yeah. That is one I'm really excited for. Obsidian, in my book, are just amazing developers. I think they're one of the best there at Microsoft. I want to see Avowed. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, so you'll be happy if they show you Avowed
gameplay.
Yeah. I want to see Ninja Theory's game, Senua Saga 2, Hellblade 2.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see gameplay for that.
I like to see
it looks incredible.
From the gameplay that we did see. I would like to see more of it fleshed out. See, these are the things. They have this stuff. This stuff can be shown. Will it be shown? That's the only thing.
I think Avowed has a very good chance of showing gameplay. Some people are mentioning Fable in the chat. No, don't expect Fable at all. I think that's years away. We're not going to see Fable. I don't think. I'm just going out on a limb here and say no, it's not going to be there. Gaming Forte, thank you very much with the super chat. He says, I was told that King flew the coop to one of the best podcasts on YouTube. Thank you very much, man. Plus, it gives me a reason to support my brother Fonz. So as always, hey King, boo-boo.
Hey Forte.
Yeah, I know you guys go back and forth on that with ILP. It's hilarious. But thank you for joining, man, King. I appreciate
anybody
you.
That's watching. I had to come over here with my man Fonz.
I appreciate you so
I
much,
don't
man.
care. You trust me, I died for that David Jaffe interview. I begged for that David Jaffe interview, but again, I had to give my time there.
I feel
But
bad, man. I do feel
no,
bad
no, you
because I didn't want to
don't.
take you away from that, but
Do not, because I got
yeah,
a chance to express my love and my admiration for the dude. Because trust me, what people don't understand is I've been there in the beginning of PlayStation when PlayStation didn't have an identity. He gave PlayStation an identity.
yeah, he
He
did.
gave them the rough edge with the Twisted Metals and the
Twisted
System of
Metal and
Blacks
God of
and,
War.
and the God of War. He gave them that identity. He made them the biggest, baddest asses in the room. You
Yes.
know, so you got to respect
On a Western
exactly
front,
what he
anyway.
did.
Yeah, he did.
Right, but that he was the face, though.
Yeah, for the Western games, he really was. Before him, like we were all about the JRPGs and whatever
Right.
the Tenshus and things like
He's a
that they had
rock
to give
star.
us. Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
rock star,
he is.
and a lot of times he's humble as hell to even taking that level of praise because he tells you it's a team. But remember, the buck stops at the top,
Yep.
regardless to what. I don't care what anybody say. That's nice that you have a team. Yeah, Phil doesn't do it by himself. Phil is not moving all these parts by himself. He has a team, an incredible team. Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, and the team. Everybody, Aaron Greenberg, everybody down the line. Everybody that said people that didn't mention they work, but he David Jaffe was one of the pillars in my gaming history. So I did appreciate everything, and I wanted to have a conversation and sit down with a man that I admire. There's three more people
It
that
was the
I will
same for
love to
me, brother.
interview.
It was the same for me with
And when
Jaffe.
I saw it happening for you, Fonz, I sat there and I was elated, and I was so jealous at the same time because I was like, my man is doing it, like
That's
really doing it.
why do you think when Cog hit that super chat, and said that he was asking Jaffe to be on the show, I was pushing him. I said, "You need to go do that show." That
You know I was asleep at the time, right? Because I
yeah,
usually catch you like when I go to work at
yeah,
night.
yeah. I had to push it though
Right after the podcast, I'm usually
because I had
close
to
to
see
Eric.
my brothers get that Jaffe there. I had
That's
to,
what's up,
man.
man. And
It's
he was such a good scout. Like as far as I tell people anyway, um, he's been in a professional environment. He doesn't curse all the time. So if people think that is who he is, you don't know exactly the man. All right, so
no,
but
that what I respect about that guy is the fact that he tells it like it is, and he
yeah,
means what he says. He doesn't just say bullshit to say bullshit.
yeah,
He tells you what he means, and I love it. I think that I don't always agree with him, and that's okay. But at least he's honest, and we can have a civil discourse and talk about things. And I
yeah.
love that. And I've always respected him. And I told him and it was the damn truth. When I made this show, he was one of the first industry guys. I was like, I really want to talk to Jaffe.
Exactly.
I really want to talk to Jaffe.
What? Okay, let me ask you a question. Where did that come from for you? Because I
It's
know where
just
it came
knowing the
from for
guy
me.
that was, seeing him on
Right.
YouTube and going, that's the guy that I loved his games for and everything. And that's the guy that I want to talk to because I got to know him more through YouTube, watching him
Right.
talk and just, be straightforward. He was just such a character, but at the same time himself. And I was like, I'm blown away by this guy's, when people ask him questions, his answers, they're very thoughtful,
Yeah.
just sensible. I was just like, I need to talk to this guy. I need to.
You know when it happened for me, and my opinion of that happened, and you got that part out of him, right? When I watched your interview with it, it happened with God of War 2018.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
And
had to ask him about
I
God of
said,
War 2018. I was
yeah,
like,
I
I
said,
want to know his true feeling here.
yeah, and that's what I loved about it. I said, my thought was immediately when I saw it, I said, oh, this is not my God of War. Immediately. Not saying it's not a good game,
It's a great
right?
game, but it's not the
It was
traditional God of
no,
War.
it's a good game for me. It wasn't a great game. Spider-Man was game of the year. That game was a good game. I don't even believe that
I
it was God of
disagree,
War.
but
I
I
know, no, it's
respect
fine.
it. I respect
It's
it.
fine. I don't even believe that. I believe that they took the name and did whatever. Um,
Dad of War.
but my whole immediate thought was to the creator, right? To David Jaffe and how I felt that they bastardized the character to the point of taking the biggest, strongest alpha male in the room, the biggest, baddest dude, and turned him into a babysitter.
Kind of
Right?
demasculated
And
him a bit.
boy, oh boy, did
Yeah.
he when he
A little bit.
right?
happened.
No, not a little bit. A hell of a lot.
If you played the traditional God of War
Yeah.
games, guys, you would know what we're talking about.
What we're talking about here. So it was a huge drastic change, and he admits that that character needed to make that growth because from Ascension they probably saw the numbers dip and people got desensitized to what was being pushed out at that point in time. I'm not taking anything away from whatever avenue that they decided to go in and what they decided to do with the character going
And
in.
Jaffe doesn't either.
My thought immediately was the creator, and I needed to have that conversation. So that's how he got into that thing. And then as I looked deeper, because I didn't watch any of his YouTube stuff before that actually happened.
Oh, okay.
Then I saw, he worked on Mickey Mania. Wow. And then he worked on this game, Jet Moto. Oh, snap. Twisted Metal Black. And then I started going down this. I said, this guy formulated my
young adulthood
gaming years. So when a time where Sony was going through different transitions, brothers and sisters, Sony's not the Sony that they was now then.
Nope.
And he made that. So in large respect, he was the face of the brand. He pushed the brand in the Western market, and he's the reason why they were so strong and were able to push Nintendo and get Sega off. So I just had to have him on, and I do appreciate everything that you did to make sure that he got there. Thank you again, sir.
No, you're welcome. And tell everybody where they can find you, man.
You can find me at lordsofgaming.net and also ILP, that's Iron Lords Podcast, Sundays at 1 p.m. Lordsofgaming.net is a website that we have where we have writers, we do reviews, we have opinion pieces, we have technology reviews.
It's a big gaming
and we
site.
also have walkthrough. It's really great stuff. Go check it out. I don't, tout it just because I'm a part of it. I tout it because it's really good stuff. My mother went to the website and cried, actually. So
that's nice. That's
also
beautiful.
Combat Talk with the King.
Yes.
That's Saturdays at 10 p.m. where you come in, have your drink. We could talk fights. We could watch the fight. I give you play-by-play, blow-by-blow, pause, or what's going on with the fight. Everything is constantly changing with that. I'm working on stuff because with everything, you got to have progression. You got to have growth. You don't start at your apex. You begin as a fetus and you grow into the person that you're supposed to be. KOS is coming back. That's a King of Statues.
Yep.
That's going to be a live show as well.
Oh, wow.
Because I want a level of interaction with the crowd. I think being a part of, I'm not one of those people that want to be on stage talking to the crowd. I want to be in the crowd, with the crowd, talking with the crowd, having that conversation. So I'm changing my thoughts on how things are into how it should be, and the conversation should be ever revolving around each other, opposed to one person talking down. So that's how I view it, and that's what I'm trying to bring to the space.
Yeah, no, you're awesome. The King of the Statues, it's really cool because, with the video format that you were doing, you were telling the history on the characters that you would be, showing the statue for and everything. And I learned some stuff about characters. I was like, I didn't even know that. But you, of course, you've read a lot of comics, and it's interesting to just learn something new as an adult. And I go, man, I thought I read those comics when I was a kid. I guess I didn't know that. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, check them out over there on the Iron Lords podcast channel here on YouTube. King, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. I got much love for you and the guys over at ILP. I appreciate you. You guys are family, not just friends. To me, you're family. If I'm ever on the East Coast, definitely hitting you up.
You're gonna get you some pizza.
Yeah, and I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be moving to the East Coast pretty soon. So I'll definitely be able to get to you guys a little bit faster. Anyways, that was the show today, guys. Thank you very much for showing up. And again, I'm taking a bit of a hiatus. Season 1 comes to a close. This is not goodbye, but this is until next time. Game on, folks.
Peace.
All right, brother.